Gaming today is an ever-changing medium. New consoles with realistic graphics and an interactive motion control. But for some reason, the vintage side of gaming is rising back into the mainstream light. Why are these old games, these 8-bit time capsules, coming back? I set it upon myself to find out why. My journey starts with a Facebook search of gaming collectors and businesses. That's when I found Richard. Richard Black is an arcade cabinet collector and graphic design artist who wants to have his own business in renting out arcade machines. I took a drive out to meet him and ask him what he thought of the recent rise in vintage collecting and nerd culture.
I don't know why nerd culture has come back into popularity, but I'm just loving it. Like, you know what I mean? I'm getting in touch with my inner nerd, you know, in more ways even these days. Like, I've started picking up comics and stuff again. I've also got a bunch of old records, right? So, you know, it seems like, you know, the Taz Records guy and the Strange Adventures guys and, you know, the Big Robot guys and, you know, the guys down at PvP, like, you know, even these new board game bars that I haven't gotten out to yet, like, it's just, they're popping up everywhere, right? So, so yeah, there is a resurgence in geek culture, and, you know, it's kind of cool to be a geek now, which is weird, because it wasn't when I was a geek.
Though Richard didn't know why gaming was making a resurgence, he did tell me two people who might.
My name is Sean, and we go by the Cartridge Brothers, and in that, in our YouTube channel, I'm Player 1.
And I'm Player 2, but my real name is Mark, and like you said, we actually are brothers who gaming all of our lives together pretty much.
Mark and Sean run the Cartridge Bros, a YouTube channel specializing in gaming reviews and podcasts. I was really hoping with this background they would know why vintage gaming is on the rise.
If you look at Halifax in the last, I'd say 10 years, I'd say nerd culture is becoming, you know, a lot more prevalent than it was before that. Yeah. What do you think? I mean, there's so many things popping up.
You can't even compare the explosion that we had just with HalCon last year alone. Going from 2 years ago when you could get tickets right up, you know, even to the minute of, and to being to the fact that it was an 8-hour wait just to get inside. So that alone shows that it's not just video games, it's everything. It's comic books, it's movies, it's Doctor Who, it's steampunk. Yeah. And I love the steampunk.
I know you do.
But, not to wear it, but to look at it. But yeah, it's Halifax. It's definitely, Halifax has always been a hub of everything, like sports, hockey, drinking, partying. It's a university town, so there's constantly an influx of new people coming in. And as young people come in and try and experience things and find out what they're into, they end up picking things that they like, and a lot of it is nerd related. It's hip to be a nerd right now, so Halifax is very hip.
I mean, look at the PvP bar now that just came out. There's a board game cafe now that came out downtown. I mean, there's a barcade that's going to be starting up. That guy who owns a convenience store next to us, he wants to start up his own barcade. I mean, it's a lot more prevalent now than I'd say it was 10 years ago. I'd say we're there.
University town. Ha! How many universities does Halifax even have? 2? Okay, I get it. They're probably right. But I still had a big question gnawing at the back of my head. Why gaming and not anything else like Pogs? I decided while Sean and Mark were here, I'd ask them.
Games for me have always been an escape. Like I said earlier, I moved around a lot when I was a kid, so video games were always on. I moved into a new house at the end of a school year. I have no friends for that entire summer, except for when my parents want to drive me to my friend's house for, you know, once a week or twice a week. So to fill in that gap, I needed something, and I already had, you know, my consoles. So I had no friends. I played consoles, you know, and video games were always just there. They were always there for me. They were some of my earliest memories with my family, with this guy, and you know, I remember beating games with mom and dad like since I was a toddler. Like, it's ridiculous. So for me, that's the reason why it's always been video games, and why it's never been anything else, really.
Yeah, it's like he said, games they're an escape, you know what I mean? It's a chance to go on an adventure, and it's not they're not just games. Like, I've been gaming for as long as I can remember, since I was a little kid, 7 years old, 6 years old. So these characters, like, and I think it's the same reason that we get so impassioned when a game comes out that we feel isn't up to par. Like, Link is my friend. He's not just a character I play as, he's somebody I know. You know, we've been on adventures together, we've done stuff together. Bridia was the first girl I ever had a crush on, and she was Pixels. And I know that means I'm really sad, but it's okay, because like they teach you things. They're not just games. If you play Final Fantasy II, like, you learn about forgiveness, you learn about betrayal, you learn about love, you learn about putting the good of others before yourself.
Yeah, a lot of moral teachings for sure.
Yeah, and that's just one example. There's so much that you can learn from a game, and they become a part of you. And because we grew up with it, and our parents were so willing to continue making it part of our lives growing up, and they encouraged it, because we would all sit together as a family and play games. We were stuck as a group, 4 of us, 2 adults, 2 children, stuck in the Lost Woods in The Legend of Zelda for like a day. And my father actually had to call the Nintendo Power Hotline to get us out of there. And it's like, it's sad, because it's a really easy spot to go. But like, it's always been there. It's always been part of my life. So when I get to a point now, I have my own child, and I want her to have memories. So we're not just playing a game and beating a game together. We're creating a memory. And like, it's newer games now, but she plays the old ones too. We sat down, the 3 of us, and we played Super Metroid. We bought it on the Wii U eShop for 30 cents. And we played it, and she beat it in 6.5 hours. The first time she'd ever played the game. And she was 11, like, and now that's something she'll always remember, you know? And I don't know, it's just, games are always there. They never let you down, they never disappoint you. Unless it's, what was that, Duke Nukem Forever or whatever?
We don't mention that.
No, but games are there. They're never gonna not answer your phone call. They're just,
Duke Nukem.
they're reliable. Yeah, I don't know. I love them, and they're such a sense of comfort, and I don't know. You can't play a game. You can't put a game in that you played when you were a kid and not get hit right in the feels.
It's true.
While their answer was on par with why I started collecting, I still needed something more. I asked Sean and Mark who to go to next. Who in Halifax would know over all others? John Payne. John is the king of NES in Halifax, with an impressive near-complete collection. If anyone knew, John definitely would.
The reason why I picked collecting games over, other collectibles or, doing sports or anything is, well, for sports-wise, I'm terrible at sports. Terrible. And over other things, I mean, I collect cars too, but, they're a lot harder to fit on a shelf. I really like games, and I grew up with them, so that's pretty much the main reason. I started with someone gave me, 20 NES games, and then every time I'd see one that I didn't have, I'd pick it up so I could play it, and then it just kind of get out of hand. My first console was an Atari 2600. Yeah, but there's not a lot of good memories with that. My first game I ever played was E.T. Most people are surprised that I didn't get turned away from games right away, so just the graphics change between the 2600 and the NES was so much that I remember seeing Mario Brothers in Zellers on display, and they had like their display unit that would play just that one game, and it'd play for about 5 minutes and then it'd shut the system off. But I remember seeing it, I was just like, whoa, what is this? And just super excited about it. And I didn't get one until about, I think, 1990, and so it was a couple of years old then, and just playing it for the first time was amazing, and I was really excited about it, and that's basically what made me want to play games, was just those first few games. I really have all the games I want, apart from Panic Restaurant and Bubble Bobble 2, so the other ones are just, I'll pick away at them, and, finish it up when I get around to it. I'm not in a huge rush now. I go to different places. I was in Alberta last week, and I picked up 2 games there. And I actually, I saw a really cheap Miracle Piano online, so I bought that one. So, but I'm not, going, to 10 shops a day anymore like I used to.
Halifax attracts a huge number of young university students that are growing up and want to grab onto those last few memories as a child. Waking up on Christmas morning to a Nintendo 64, or going to Blockbuster to rent a game for the weekend and leaf through Nintendo Power looking for codes to help them beat it. And now they want to relive those fond memories. because they see a future without the fun of childhood and playing those games once they graduate. They see what they're told will happen to them, a 9-to-5 job with no fun, just work. But life doesn't have to be like that. Be an accountant who plays Nintendo with their kids. Be that doctor who goes home and unwinds with Sony. Or be an engineer with a love for Sega. And whatever happens, and whatever you happen to do, always game on.